A friend asked me recently, how do you know if you played well? And honestly, that question stuck with me because it's harder to answer than it sounds. The scoreboard doesn't always tell the story. And even when it does, that doesn't mean I felt good about it. So here's how I think about it. The first thing that pops in my head is, did we win? If we won, I must have done my job, right? But that falls apart quickly. I've had games where we won by 4 or 5 goals and I felt meh. I didn't face many quality chances. Maybe I made 1 or 2 decent saves, but the rest of the game, my team was just dominating at the other end. I remember one game in particular, we won 7-2. Everyone after the game was like, great game, man. But I was kicking myself. One of those goals was a bad read by me on a 2-on-1, and the other one was just lazy. I didn't seal the post fast enough. The other team didn't do much all night, but those 2 goals stuck in my head. I didn't feel like I earned the win. And the opposite happens too. I've lost games where I felt great. I tracked well, controlled rebounds, made multiple big saves, but we just couldn't score. Or we ran into a hot goalie at the other end. So yeah, the scoreboard, it doesn't always reflect how I played. Okay, so if the score isn't reliable, what about shot volume? That can be just as misleading. I've let in 1 goal on 12 shots. Technically, that's a great save percentage, but I felt cold and disconnected the whole game. I've also faced 35 shots that were mostly perimeter junk, low percentage looks that I saw clean the whole way. Shot count and save percentage don't always tell the full story. And again, I don't control the number of shots or the quality. I just respond to what shows up. What I've started focusing on are the things I can control. Was I square to the puck? Was my depth appropriate? Not too deep, not over aggressive. Was I tracking well, especially through screens and traffic? Those are the details I go back to. But even then, in the middle of a game, it's hard to be sure. Sometimes I'll ask my defense, did I look square on that rush? Or how was my angle on that rebound? Sometimes they've got good feedback. Sometimes they weren't watching closely enough to know. Then there's the weird thing that happens when I get positive feedback. I'll make a routine save. Glove, no traffic, and you hear the bench tapping their sticks like I just robbed someone. And while I appreciate that, part of me wonders, was that actually impressive? Or do they just expect so little from me that a basic save gets a celebration? That kind of reaction messes with my head more than a goal sometimes. And let's be honest, I make mistakes. Everyone does, but in goal they're more visible. Letting in a weak 5-hole goal after making big saves all game, that hurts. Especially if it's the difference between a win and a loss. It's frustrating when the highlight reel saves don't matter because of one soft one. And sometimes it's not even what went in, it's when. I'd rather give up 2 sloppy goals in the first and shut things down the rest of the game than let in 2 late goals in the third after playing solid for 40 minutes. The timing affects how the game feels. A bad first period could be redeemed. A bad third period sticks with you. One of the hardest parts of playing goalie is not letting one mistake spiral into another. I've had games where I gave up a soft goal, and mentally I was still replaying it when the puck dropped again. Next shift, next shot, boom, another one. So when I evaluate how I played, I ask, did I reset after that mistake? Did I stay composed? That's huge. Sometimes more important than the goal itself. The only way I really know how I played is by watching the footage. When I review tape, I'm not just looking at saves or goals, I'm looking at movement. Was I arriving on time? Was I holding my angles? Was I reaching or oversliding? Sometimes, I'll notice bad habits I didn't even feel during the game. Other times, I'll realize I was beating myself up for nothing. So, how do I know if I played well? I don't look at the score anymore. I don't worry too much about how many saves I made or what the stat line says. I ask, did I compete? Did I play with intention? Did I respond well when things went sideways? That's what tells me more than anything else. It's not about perfection, it's about consistency in mindset, effort, and execution. So if you're a goalie, or even just someone trying to get better at something, how do you evaluate your performance? What matters most to you? Drop a comment. I'd love to hear how others think about this too. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.